Okay, 3, 2, 1. All right, great. Welcome everyone, and Happy New Year, Happy 2019. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Carrie Coogan. I'm Deputy Director of the Kansas City Public Library, and so thrilled to have everybody back for another year of great work. I want to mention that Rick Usher is here, and he is going to be recording, thankfully, and we appreciate you recording this live on Facebook, so just so you know that whatever you might say here today is going out on Facebook, so that is wonderful, but just so that you're aware of it. A couple of quick housekeeping tidbits to make sure everybody's on the same page going forward. This is our mission and vision statement. You can also find it on our website. When you come in, if you could please sign in the back, and if you give us your name, organization, email, phone number, all that contact information, we can get you on our mass email list so that you get all kinds of information about what's going on with the coalition or what may be happening locally or nationally in the area of digital inclusion. If you parked in the garage across the street, there was actually a car that caught on fire in the parking lot this morning.
Oh, that's what that
It's
is.
not like I know it happened at 8 a.m. this morning and everything's okay, but just so you notice if there's a funny smell, everything's okay. But please get your parking validated in the back, because if you brought it in with you, you'll need to have it validated in the back, you know. The Wi-Fi network is library and the password is historic. I want to take a minute to thank the library's AV tech, Leslie Case in the back, who's here. Set up the room, set up the AV. We really appreciate your time and effort into setting everything up. Also, David LaCrone is here from the library in the back. David is responsible for maintaining and running our website for the Digital Inclusion Coalition. He's been doing it now for 3 years, I think. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, input on the website, he's the person to talk to, but really just want to thank you for all of your hard work that you do to keep the website up and running. Speaking of social media, here's our social media contact information, and Rick Usher, who's on the steering council, is just going to be talking briefly about that in our meeting today, the importance of it, and we should all be doing more of it. Okay, so just to tell you a little bit about what's going to happen today, here's the agenda. There's also an agenda in the back, as well as information about our coalition and becoming a member. Can you raise your hand if you're a member currently of the coalition? Oh, excellent, great. Thank you, that's important. We're really trying to build our membership this year. And so that brings me to my next point. If there's somebody that you know or somebody that you think should be coming to these meetings, please invite them. The meetings are open to anybody who wants to come. And they're always the first Friday of each month right here at 10:30 a.m. at Central Library. We changed it this month because of the holiday. So, okay, so I'm going to talk, we're going to do intros and just talk about the past year. Then Aaron's going to talk about membership. Tom is going to go over updating our membership focus areas. Some of you have probably heard of them. If you haven't, he's going to give you a little bit of a comprehensive update about where we started in our focus areas 3 or 4 years ago, where we've come to since then, and where we're going to move forward to. I'm just going to introduce the steering council members. We mentioned and we put up a screen every month about who the steering council members are, and so you may or may not know them, but you're going to get a chance to meet them, and they're going to talk briefly about their involvement in the coalition and what they do as part of their personal organizations. Then Dominga has a wonderful activity that we're going to take part in about the coalition and what our hopes and dreams are for the future, so she'll be doing that. And then we'll adjourn to have about 15 or 20 minutes of networking time, which we think is really important. Okay. So let's start with introductions. So if you could please stand up, say your name, your organization, and just a brief sentence about what brings you here or what your organization is doing.
Hey, Happy New Year. How's everybody doing? My name is Eli Davis. I'm actually representing the Healing House, and I guess we're just trying to, we're building a RCC Recovery Community Center. We also have our world headquarters now, and we're just kind of expanding and growing, and we're trying to, I guess, catch up with the trend and be more, I guess, tech savvy and offer more resources to our clients. So I have cards if anybody needs them after.
I'm Deacon, Managing Director of Digital Drive. Our mission is to make the city a digital leader. So
previous grant for workforce development.
Good morning, my name is Montgomery. My organization is Urban Tech. TEC is the acronym for Technology Empowered Communities. I work to make sure that urban schools and communities have access to 21st century technology.
Yeah, you too.
Good morning, my name is Aisha Daly, and I'm actually here with Ms. Ina from Urban Tech. My name is Whitney Dwyer. I'm with the Women's Employment Network, so we help with a lot of financial coaching and employment around Kansas City. And you guys probably all know that you can't apply for employment if you don't have access to the internet. So we provide a lot of those services.
Primero, my organization is Hispanic Economic Development Corporation. I am responsible for the digital literacy program. We have 5 locations at this moment, 3 in Missouri, 2 in Kansas. We have 90 students in our programs, 3 levels. And soon we will celebrate our successful impact in digital inclusion with the Latino community in Kansas.
Good morning, my name is Andrea Ellis, and I work at the Kansas City Public Library. I'm in the Youth and Family Engagement Department. And in addition to managing the digital media lab that we have at the Southeast branch for 12 to 18-year-olds, I'm looking kind of across the system of how we better support youth and getting access to a lot of the activities and resources that are happening in our city.
Wendy Pearson, also with the library, and I've helped develop a collection of resources called Tech Access that helps our adult patrons with digital literacy and workforce development.
Hi, I'm Chuck Dion. I'm with Wendy in the Tech Access program. I'm the lead tech coach for our tech coach program, and I provide direct support for all patrons.
Hi, I'm Darnell Bush, and I'm the IT director for the Housing Authority of Kansas City. And I think everybody knows what we do.
Good morning, my name is Marvin Robinson, and my main project is the Quincy Overlands Underground Railroad. And I try to do as much as I can to network and collaborate and reach out.
Goodwill, and we are doing computer training classes and job search assistance, things like that for anyone that comes to see us, and up to and including even A+ certification through our partnership with Connecting for Good. So it's nice to see you guys again.
My name is Mildred Walker, and I'm with BFTAA and KUAW, and we work with young people, DEX and Legos, and I just met the president too.
I'm George Walker with the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, and we work with the youth, as you said, in robotics, and we're doing some coding now and just trying to get them more. Our whole mission is to close the digital divide, so we try to get young people involved in STEM careers and taking in the STEM pathways of education.
Calvin Murphy, volunteer coordinator, also AmeriCorps Vista at Connecting for Good. Our mission is to bridge the digital divide. We do that through selling low-cost computers, Wi-Fi hotspots, and also teach free computer literacy courses to Kansas City's Urban Core.
Alyssa Wade, development coordinator, also at Connecting for Good.
Jonathan Stricker, AmeriCorps Vista, along with these two at Connecting for Good.
Hi, I'm Susan Norris from Echo Select. We do business and IT consulting, and we are here to support the community as best we can.
I'm Juliana Sellers with Grow Through Grief. I'm a life coach and just learning about various networks in the community that I joined you today.
Hi, I'm Abby Ecker. I work for Wyandotte County. Kind of new. Today's actually my first month. So I work with our Chief Knowledge Officer, Alan House. Thanks for having me.
Good morning, my name is Chris Harrell. I'm here representing Verizon Wireless and Verizon's commitment to bridging the digital divide in America today.
Good morning and Happy New Year, everybody. I'm Bob Henderson with Verizon. Good morning, my name is Daniel Smith. I'm with the Full Employment Council. Just wanted to mention briefly, we have some cohort training coming up, specifically in the area of IT. We have a web development with JavaScript coming up in February. And then there's a project management where, you know, there's some cohesion there. There's some parallels in IT. So project management also coming up in February. If you have any questions or you want to have somebody that is interested in the program, definitely let's connect. Thanks so much.
I'm Sarah Morris. I'm with UMKC and KCUR Public Radio. I oversee the public radio station for the university as well as I'm the executive director for continuing education. And go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs. Right. Rachel?
Good morning, I'm Rachel Merlo with Google Fiber. Supporting digital inclusion programming is one of our core pillars for community impact. Thanks for having me.
Hi everyone, I'm Tom Esselman. I'm the CEO of Connecting for Good, along with my Vista team. In addition to focusing on internet access and computers and digital skills, there's kind of a fourth pillar of our programming, and that's community partnerships. And right now there's 2 community partnerships that are starting to rear their head. As you know, in the last year we've really focused on workforce development, and that's going to continue to be a focus. But in the coming months, you're going to see and hear a lot more about the work we're doing with the VITA tax program, VITA standing for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. So we're partnering with United Way. There are 16 sites throughout the greater Kansas City metro area where people can get their tax returns done for free. And that's going to be a wonderful portal through which residents can learn more about lots of digital inclusion opportunities. In fact, one of the things we're going to be adding in their information is one of the maps that Rick Usher and the city of Kansas City, Missouri has developed that shows where free computer centers are located throughout the city, not the least of which includes all the library branches, probably our single biggest partnership. And the other one is one you may not think about a lot, but it's certainly a big issue in our metro area, and that's public safety. And we're partnering with the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office right now to be a neutral site where hotspot crime neighborhoods can just work directly through Connecting for Good to purchase and have installed digital video cameras that are then registered with the police department that have been known to have been a crime preventative in a number of cities around the country. So, you know, we're not claiming to be experts in public safety, but what we are claiming is that through our commitment to digital inclusion and making life improvement easier through digital technology, we like the fact that the neighborhoods feel comfortable working with a neutral party like ours to get that done. So really happy and proud to be a member of the steering council, also of the Digital Inclusion Coalition, which we're going to be talking about more as we go through the meeting. So thank you all for being here. Happy New Year. Go Chiefs.
Thanks. And Rick Usher, I'm Assistant City Manager at City of Kansas City, Missouri. Working on implementing the Digital Equity Strategic Plan, doing social media for this group. Twitter, include_KC, or the Facebook page, Kansas City Coalition for Digital Inclusion. So like, share, comment, and we'll talk about that later, right? So anyway, thank you.
Great. Thank you, Rick. And thank you so much, everyone.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have our online viewers, Mike Brown. Hello, Mike Brown, and David Sandell. Mike's here in Kansas City. I think Dave's our friend in St. Louis. And thanks.
That's great. Thank you. This has to be one of the best parts, I think, of our coalition meetings, is hearing about all of the work that each one of you are doing and finding ways that we can all connect with each other. So I really hope you all take advantage of the networking time, because there's a lot of partnerships that have come out of these meetings, and I just think it's so valuable. So thank you all so much for being here. One of the things you're going to find out about this upcoming year and these meetings in general is that we really do want to hear more from all of you, whether you're a provider, whether you're doing new programs or partnerships, and we're also looking to expand our membership, get new people here on both sides of the state line, and we're also really interested in adding some new members to our steering council so that we can get some fresh new ideas and thoughts going. And so part of what we're going to do today is talk about some of what we've done this past year, but also what we hope to do in the coming months. So in the coming months, we're each going to have a steering council member who will lead each meeting, and then there will be some extra months that are available that we will still have our member spotlights, and we'll still have speakers who come in, but we really want your thoughts and opinions about how we can make this coalition something that you feel a part of, that you get to invest your time and effort and energy in. So please keep that in mind. Okay, so quickly, I just wanted to, for those of you who can't make it to every single meeting, I just wanted to give you a snapshot of some of the speakers that we had last year. It was a great year, and we learned a lot about a lot of different programs and services that are available right here in our community. And I hope that you were able to take advantage of some of them for your patrons, for your clients, and for your organizations themselves. We still have all the information from all of these talks. So if you want more information, you can either contact me or Dave Lacone, and we can get you more information about it. But Greg Housel, there's a new person who took over for Greg Housel with the Fed and the whole Money Matters program. If you don't know about Money Matters, you should, and your organization should be on it if you're doing anything in digital inclusion space that has to do with money or finances. Many of you know about Prep KC. Jeremy Hagel is with the Fed. The Fed this past year has really made digital inclusion a focus, and a focus area that they want to help with and help create CRA dollars and investments from banks and communities. So it's another area where we can tap into funding. So if you don't know about that, that's another area you should look into. Sarah Martin, Kansas City, Missouri Health Department is doing great work. A lot of great data collection that helps show where some of our gaps are and ways that we can help with the entire health of Kansas City. Many of you may not know Rachel Cash. She is the local representative for the AmeriCorps Vista program. I think just about any organization in this room could qualify for an AmeriCorps Vista, and they're a low-cost way to help really help your programming and help get the word out about what we're doing. Quest Moffat, most of you know, the Goodwill program we got to hear about from Chris, who's here today, and then Pam Harris from the KC Degrees program. So we're going to be doing more of that this coming year, and then we're also going to be doing more member spotlights. So these are some of the member groups. That's all of you who came and talked about the organization that you represent, the work you're doing, maybe some challenges you're facing, areas where you need help, things you're proud of. So we want to continue to do those. So if anybody's interested in doing a member spotlight this coming year, please let me know. Any questions? Any questions about anything? And finally, these were our events from last year. We always try to do some big community events. I think that's something we really want to work on doing more of in the coming year. But last year we did National Digital Inclusion Week, where all of the organizations participated in whatever way they could. The Coalition helped organize HUD meetings here so that you could hear about what might be happening with the National HUD program. We had people come in from Washington, D.C. And then finally, we had a big job readiness fair here at the Kansas City Public Library in September. Okay, so if there aren't any more questions about any of that, I'm going to introduce Erin Deacon from KC Digital Drive, who's going to talk about membership.
Dave, if you want to pull up the member page, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Pull up. So you may remember last year at this time we sort of, after meeting informally for several years, we came up with an official membership sort of structure program, and it's pretty lightweight. So Dave's kind of pulling up the page on the website. There's a one-pager here that you'll look at. Are these printed out back there also? So if you're not signed up, you can. Basically we wanted to start creating the structure to get people more engaged beyond just the meetings that we do and some of the ad hoc things that we do. So as we kind of talked about, Carrie mentioned adding more people to the steering committee, or thinking about how to formalize some of our work that we do. Tom's going to talk about our focus areas, and when we think about organizing around them and delivering on certain initiatives, we think it's really worthwhile to have a membership structure to think through how we do those things and start, continue, I guess, the evolution into a more formal organization. So again, I'll go over this real quick so you have a sense of benefits of membership include the updates that you get from other coalition members, opportunities for collaborative project proposals and grants, access input to resources the coalition prepares, creates, and distributes, the ability to participate in coalition work groups, and an active voice in helping to drive the regional agenda around digital inclusion. Now, the thing that maybe you wouldn't say if you're really pushing a membership drive is, the fact is you get most of these benefits anyway. These are benefits for participating, for coming to these meetings. So it's not like you're going to get these benefits, or historically in particular, in a new way if you didn't actually sign this membership sheet. But having people sign up and be able to say, these are our members, is going to help us as we try to go out and represent what we are to other people in the community. So if we go to a foundation and look for a grant, or if we're going to providers and saying, hey, here's sort of this coalition of community stakeholders, having even this sort of lightweight commitment that says, you know, we're part of this coalition really gives us some additional strength and will help us build our work. And so those responsibilities include publicly committing your organization to our mission and vision that we shared at the beginning of each meeting, just identifying a designated representative of your organization for the coalition to be in contact with, keeping the coalition members informed. We ask them to participate in activities, come to the meetings, and participate in work groups as we have them, and sharing your resources and being open to collaborate. So there's not a financial commitment, we're not charging dues, we're not asking you to, you know, really sign anything away, but we are asking for a commitment to be a part of the community and really let us acknowledge your role in this group. So we were really excited. We got 23 members signed up. So if you go to the coalition page, you will see 23 organizations listed, and membership really is primarily designed as an organizational membership, although if you're just an individual and you don't really have an organizational affiliation, or you don't really quite feel empowered to speak for your organization, we're happy to work with you on what that looks like and kind of figure that out. I will say I was kind of tallying up as we did introductions, looking around the room. So we have 20 organizations here in the room today. 12 of you are members. So we've got about half of our members represented here. And as I look just kind of at the members who aren't here, a lot of those are people who come regularly. I will say also, I'm not going to call you out by name, but there are a handful of people here who come pretty much every month and are not members, and who have not signed up. So, you know, that may just be an oversight, and if it is, we encourage you to sign up so we can register you. But if there's a reason that you're not, or it's kind of like, yeah, I don't really get this, or I don't feel like, let Carrie or me or one of the other steering committee members, if you want, know so we can figure that out. So we'd really like to make sure that we can represent as accurately as we can the work that happens in this group. And the last thing that we're trying to do this year as a steering committee is to become a little bit more intentional on value-added programming for members. So we're planning right now a luncheon in February or March that really is just members only. So we still want to keep, we think this sort of open forum that is very inclusive and where anyone can show up to is really critical, but we do want to start thinking, how do we, you know, one, add some value to members, but two, really think about if you've taken even this little bit of commitment to kind of fill out the form and put your name on the site, how do we start leveraging that, and what can we do from the organizations that have demonstrated that level of commitment to really scale up the work and become more impactful. Anything that I missed? Any questions? All right, thanks.
Okay. Do you think, Dave, if you go to the history slide, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about history before landing on the focus areas. A quick anecdote. When I think about history and how things go, 2-year cycles tend to be very much a part of my thinking. My wife and I got married, and we met in '83, we got married in '85, we moved in '87, we moved again in '89, we moved again in '91, and in '93, and on. I'm like, things happen in 2-year cycles. So let's think back to the Digital Inclusion Coalition, Kansas City's Digital Inclusion Coalition. 2012, Google Fiber announced Kansas City as the first city to get high-speed internet. Over the course of the next 2 years, we formed this coalition of members, the library, my predecessor, Michael Leontov, at Connecting for Good, City of Kansas City, Missouri, KC Digital Drive. 2014, we did a summit. And it's kind of hard to see, it's a little blurry, but if you think back when 2012, that announcement first happened, Google Fiber sponsored a study that showed all these parts of the neighborhoods of Kansas City that were in a plan to get fiber infrastructure. And so the term bridging the digital divide had a persona that was kind of almost literally about like the physical connection of people to broadband internet. And in that 2-year period between 2012 and 2014, it became obvious that it was more than about just access to technology. I don't know if you can see, but there were session topics that were part of this community-wide meeting that dealt with digital literacy and its importance, low cost and affordable broadband packages, what's needed for digital inclusion for underserved communities, narrowing the divide for seniors, workforce development is mentioned in there, working with the school districts. So we're not just talking about the physical access, we're talking about things that start integrating social issues, education issues, workforce development issues. Guess what? 2 years went by with those kind of areas of focus. And 2016, all of this type of focus was attracting national attention. So we had the first Net Inclusion Summit that was put on by the National Digital Inclusion Alliance right here in Kansas City at the Kansas City Public Library, 2016. And we were working on a variety of topics, and we brought in people from around the country that started to recognize our leadership in kind of advancing some of these issues. But then coming out of that summit, we started to realize that, wait a second, we just had this summit 2 years ago, and there were some commitments that were made by the community-wide participants that said, we love the fact that there's a lot of big issues, but we don't want them just floating around out there. We want to commit to something that we feel we can do to have some successful achievements. So during 2017, the steering council started to say, what can we do to get more input from the membership so we can coalesce around things that give us focus. And now if you can go to the focus areas slide, we got some help from Mike Brown, in fact, who's watching, and we coalesced all the input from that 2014 summit around these 4 areas of focus. And we said we're going to devote 2018 to activities that happen in our meetings and what we do when we leave these meetings to these 4 areas. Broadening participation in digital inclusion activities, connecting people, in other words, using our own kind of locus of interest to take our own areas and our own content, our own connections, and bring them to the table for all of us to share. Overcoming barriers. What does that mean to each of us in our organization? Sometimes it can be transportation. Sometimes it can just be fear of things that you would be judged for not knowing. And then raising awareness. What can we do more in our day-to-day work as well as when we're together to generate more interest and awareness that we are working as a coalition? Rick Usher broadcasting our meetings live on Facebook every month is a huge, huge component of our commitment to that. So I just wanted to give you some perspective that all those amazing results that Carrie just shared with you that we accomplished in 2018 was a result of this kind of historical evolution of thought about how can we as a coalition think more and more about what it is we're trying to achieve. So now as we go into 2019, we're certainly going to use these focus areas as a springboard to something that now is kind of becoming more about being more open and more inclusive of members beyond just the steering council members to bring their ideas, bring their connections, bring their content to the table so we can take our commitment to these 4 focus areas and turn it into more actionable items and more measurable achievements. You're going to be getting a chance here in just a second to hear more about us as steering council members, who we are, what our organizations do, but we're going to be sharing that from the perspective of we want each of you to think about your organizations, your role in your organizations, and what can you do to help bring that unique perspective to these meetings each month so we can further foster success around these 4 focus areas. Make sense? Any questions? Okay, thank you.
I'm Montgomery, and I'm going to be walking you through, introducing you to the steering council members. As I said, you've seen us and heard us, but we get an opportunity this morning to talk a little bit about the work that we're doing in our organizations. So just again, the definition of coalition, which Carrie and Aaron and Tom have already introduced you to. The steering council members, and I guess I could say also founding and steering council members, because these were the founding organizations that met, I believe, for like up to 3 years before we formally did the group of the organization. And we're still all here at the table. So for introductions, I'll start with my company. My organization is Urban Tech. It formally became a 501c3 May 2018, so I'm happy about that. That allows me the opportunity to, of course, get grant funding for a lot of the work that I do. I'm housed at Central High School, and so I have an opportunity to provide professional development to the teachers on how to integrate technology in the classroom. Especially excited about this semester because I'll be doing a research project on showing how technology and invention can impact academic performance. And so I'll be working with 9th grade algebra students and their teachers and the department. These are students, unfortunately, who are about 2-3 grade levels below in math. And so my objective is to get them to some baseline where then the teacher can take them from there. But right now, they have checked out in class, they come in, they put their head down, they're not participating because they don't even have the basic knowledge to do pre-algebra in their 9th grade class. So I finally got the permission from the principal. I'm really excited about that. Just got to finish my proposal to get that grant funded. So I'm looking forward to it. I have a funder who's interested in funding it, so I'm excited about that. I deliver STEAM after-school programs. Right now I'm in 5 KCPS elementary schools. Really excited about that. Some of you guys are familiar with Making Makey, and I especially like using that with the students. So for example, I've got 4th grade students going to this website called freesoundeffects.com. They're downloading WAV files, uploading it into another free app called SoundPlant, mapping it to Making Makey, and then they're able to make posters interactive. And so for that whole process, they're learning critical thinking, creativity, but then of course they're also learning the technology. So that's, I like that. The 21st century technology I'm referring to, I got funded by, or I wrote a grant and I received it from Best Buy Community Foundation. So I was able to purchase these little small robots called Ozobots. I've got these things called High Tops, which teach coding. Somebody toys little bits. So I've got my little maker space, technology space at Central High School. Again, my open invitation if you'd like to come see what I'm doing. I also got a green screen kit. With that, I'll be able to work with the teachers, again, trying to really integrate myself in the school community. So in their ELA classes, now the students can come and create a short film about a short story. If you're doing social studies and you're teaching about Egypt, let's put the student there. I'm talking to the home ec or the family science teacher about doing a culinary show. And so these are all things that we can do, as you know, with the green screen background. And then I'll be doing also IT career-focused workforce development this year and providing Microsoft Technology Associate certification. So those are some of the things that I have going on, which is why I needed Asia, who's actually a Full Employment Council intern. And so she's really helped me kind of move things along. And that is Urban Tech. Any questions? And again, open invitation to come visit me at Central High School. We have Carrie Coogan. I've never heard of an Ozelbot. I just want to take a quick second just to tell you some, I think most of you know the scale and scope of the Kansas City Public Library System. Our programs and services are in all of our branches across the community, which is basically the footprint of the Kansas City, Missouri School District with 10 branches, including a digital branch. Here are some of the basic programs that we offer. I'm not responsible for each one of these. You can see tech coaches, I oversee Wendy and her team. We're working on this, which we hope to bring more to the community. The One North Technology is the technology center right down here in the Central Library, which is open and free to anyone in the community who wants to use it. We also offer classes and services and mentoring and tutoring there as well. Our H&R Block Business Center is really designed to be more of a higher level opportunity for entrepreneurs and people who need access to specific software or starting a business. That's on the 3rd floor of the Central Library. And then Career Online High School, some of you may be familiar with that. It's a partnership we have with Literacy Kansas City and the Mid-Continent Public Library. If you dropped out of high school, you can sign up for and be selected to be a part of a scholarship program. So for free, be part of a online course to get an accredited high school diploma, as well as choose from one of 7 to 10 career tracks that will put you on a pathway to a job. You heard just briefly from Andrea Ellis, who runs our digital media lab out of the Southeast Library. And then we also have our peer-to-peer university, which is a way of connecting people online, and we're in the process of creating a more unified online curriculum that we can use in our library branches for all of our services, and then partner with community groups like people who are here using the library card. But I will say the one thing that I think is most important, or one of the most important things, is my involvement with the National Digital Inclusion Alliance. It's a national organization, as Tom mentioned, that does this work across the country and advocates for public policy in Washington, D.C. They recognize Kansas City, this group in particular, and a lot of people have presented at their conferences and been invited to present at other conferences because of them. I just can't stress enough that we're seen as a national leader in this work, and that it's because of all of the work that you're doing here. So I just want you to know that. Also, Crosby Kemper, who is our library director, is the president of the board of Shelby, which is Schools, Health, Library, Broadband Coalition, also another public policy Washington, D.C. group that works on public policy across the nation, all in this area to make sure that we're getting the resources and the policies and the funding that we need.
Hi, so KC Digital Drive, as I mentioned kind of in the first round, we're a nonprofit organization. We've been around for 6 years now. Our mission is to make Kansas City a digital leader, and we really have these 3 strategies that you see up here, mentioned briefly, but one of those is really around, as we think about emerging technology and technology adoption in our communities, how do we do it in an inclusive, equitable way, both in terms of thinking about where infrastructure goes, make sure it goes where it ought to, and also that as we think about how we use data and algorithms and design software, that we don't do it to reinforce biases and structural injustice that's already baked into the society. So there's a lot of considerations there from a technology adoption standpoint, and we think it's really important that those are part of the conversation early on. So we do a lot of work on the innovation side as well, thinking about how do we, to be a leading digital community, how do we think about how do you use gigabit internet, which is sort of the first question that gave rise to our organization. Google came in, and we had this big public-private partnership and a huge private dollar investment and a technology that no one had even heard of for the most part, often didn't understand. And we want to think about, one, how do we do that equitably, but two, how do we just do it, period? How do we use that to have meaningful impacts in our lives? How do we use it to start the businesses? How do we use it to enhance economic development? And so we've worked to develop capacity to do this, not just around gigabit internet, but around emerging technology more generally, and then take that message out into the world. We do a lot of networking with other cities. So in the Smart City, Digital City movement, we participate in a lot of different kind of working groups that bring other people who are having these same conversations in their communities together at a national and global level. And really, we'll often describe kind of what we do is to build communities of practice at the intersection of technology, innovation, and the public good. A lot of our work is community building and meeting like this. In this case, it's around digital inclusion. We have a health innovation team that meets around digital health issues. We have a civic tech group of coders who meets every Monday night and builds, sort of volunteers to build software projects, either for nonprofits or city government. And quick plug, Dave, you can pull up the hack, I don't know if you can do that or not, if we'll mess this up. Hack KC is our annual hackathon tomorrow and Sunday. We've got 9 projects, I think 5 of which are brand new and 4 of which are continuing. They range from building a map that correlates energy efficiency projects that Metropolitan Energy Center has been doing with public health outcomes over a series of years, to a streetlight database that looks at sort of where the streetlights are and what's attached to them and how they're being used in smart city deployments in different cities across the region. I think there's, so you can go up here if there are any of these projects. Tagging Tracker is a recorder so that you can look at there's graffiti on the building. This is a project that we've been doing with LIST. You can take a picture of it and submit it, and then have somebody come out and take care of it. They've got a grant to work on that. So there are a pretty big range of projects. You don't need to be a technologist to join us, but wanted to plug that event and certainly invite you. It's down at Flex by Crossroads, 1712 Main. If you want to join us this weekend at 9, we'll kick off and have pitches around 10:30. We do a lot of work in transportation and mobility. We do work in smart cities. So some of our work is subject matter focused, like health and transportation, and then other times we have work that is more technology focused, like what you do with Gillian. We've got a meeting this afternoon kicking off a work group around integrated data strategies. So when you've got multiple groups that think that they can share data and have better outcomes by sharing data across sectors or across groups or across institutions, how do we do that? What's the framework for how you do that? How do you protect privacy? Where do you store the data? Who owns the data? What does the agreement look like? There are a lot of efforts like this happening around the community, but not a real process around how we do it. So those are some examples of things that we work on, and I'm happy to answer questions or talk about later. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Many of you may not know how Connected Group got its start. I talked about Google Fiber 2012. When they made that announcement, two gentlemen had the idea of, wow, that service might be so highly specialized and so kind of high status that we want to be like Robin Hood and be this charming little nonprofit that helps everybody get access to it. I tell you that story because the irony is, in the now 7 years since Connected for Good has been in existence, our single biggest partner is Google Fiber. And that's probably because of the work of Rachel Merlo. And it's not just for the sake of giving praise to Google, because I think through Google Fiber's efforts, more competition has come to Kansas City and more partnerships. I mean, Bob and Chris from Verizon, Debbie Ballard from Sprint, we've done a lot of work with T-Mobile. It's not about service providing technology companies competing against each other when it comes to the Digital Inclusion Coalition. I think it's just amazing that we have partnerships. I also want to call out Catherine Messier from Mobile Beacon, who supplies our Wi-Fi hotspots. Our work has done a great job of seeking out all types of different partnerships. And that's the crux of what Connecting for Good is all about. We have this vision, we have this mission, and I want to talk to you a little bit about our focus on impact. The 4 E's, education, employment, economic impact, and the environment, is the clearest and cleanest focus that we've had to date in terms of defining the pathways that we're working on and why partnerships are so important. When you talk about education, in our way of thinking, there are a lot of our programs that do focus on kids and individuals in school. But we also talk about life skills. There's an education when it comes to digital inclusion that is why we do tax services, financial literacy, civic engagement, the importance, particularly to older adults, to understanding just how easy it is to share information and stay connected with your loved ones when you learn to overcome your fears about technology. When it comes to employment, we partner with groups like Goodwill because they're specialists in job placement. We partner with the FTC. We partner with groups that have the same focus, but we utilize what we do as a smaller, more grassroots community organization to move things in that direction. Let me be clear, as a nonprofit, small community organization, we all have to focus on financial sustainability as well. So donating computers, refurbishing them, selling them back to individuals and families and organizations that need them, and creating jobs. I mean, I'm not going to
go all on about the salary level that the Vistas make, but we have 3 Vistas here because we have 3 jobs that need work being done in terms of capacity building that the Vista program is perfectly suited to help us do. When I joined 3 years ago, we had 6 staff members. Well, we have 14 staff members now. We're adding more jobs that give back to the community because this work reflects a demand that continues to grow. So I'm thrilled to be part of it. I do think we're kind of at the brink of reaching a new plateau, and yet I very much feel like we're just beginning. We couldn't do it without being part and partnerships with groups like this. And so we always welcome input, and we welcome more ways that our partnerships can help make our digital inclusion outcomes a real successful path for all of us. Any questions? Thank you.
Our steering council member, Gillian Helm, could not be here today, but I'll read a statement in her absence. I am honored to be a Coalition and Steering Council member. As Executive Director of Literacy KC, an adult basic education organization that comes in contact with thousands of adults and families in our community in need of literacy education, I and my team see firsthand the impact improved digital skills, improved digital literacy, and improved access can have on the lives of those we serve. Intuitively, you can understand that the digital divide disproportionately affects those with low literacy skills, and with 80% of today's jobs requiring some level of computer skills, the combination of low literacy skills and lack of access, either in the form of low digital literacy or in absence of hardware and internal servers, locks our students out of the workforce and from full participation in public and social circles. I hope this new year brings new energy to the Coalition's work, a renewed dedication to building awareness of how literacy is multidimensional and its forms are interdependent, and our increased level of commitment to improving literacy in all facets in order to improve the entire community.
Good morning again. I am Dominga Levin with Metropolitan Community College. Metropolitan Community College, for many of you, as you're aware, has a long time been around in the Kansas City community. We started in 1915. We have 5 campuses across the Kansas City area. In the Independence area, we have our Blue River campus. In South Kansas City, in the Esselman, Grandview area, we have our Longview Community College, Longview campus. Midtown, we have Penn Valley. Up north, we have Maple Woods. And then in the riverfront, Front Street area, we have our Business and Technology campus. Our mission is to prepare students, create opportunities, and to serve communities. And in that capacity, we partner with a lot of organizations here, some of you in the room, in ways that perhaps people are less familiar with. The community college is really a big part of partnering with organizations, for example, like the Full Employment Council, in terms of workforce development. And so, in the sense that, a community college, not only provides associate degree opportunities, but also career and technical education for workforce development. That's actually how I began working in partnership here with the founding council, steering council, with the Kansas City Coalition for Digital Inclusion. It really was out of a workforce development grant in which we were partnering with our Workforce Investment Board, Full Employment Council, and the Department of Labor grant, in which we were serving individuals who were either unemployed, underemployed, who were affected by foreign trade, or who had a veteran status. And so we were providing opportunities within a particular sector. There were actually 4 different grants that we participated in. We had a healthcare focus, that was the grant that I managed. We had another grant that had a manufacturing focus, and another grant that had a STEM focus. And so in a lot of different ways, again, we are looking to how do we help not just prepare individuals who are interested in terms of associate degree work. Maybe it's a student who is coming back home from university over the summer, wants to take some general education courses. But we certainly do a lot more than just that. There are partnerships that we work through, flip to the next slide for me, please. Partnerships through our workforce development arm of the college. We have 5 different areas. We have continuing education. So that may be somebody who's looking to skill up, maybe transition in a different career path. Sometimes it may be somebody who maybe they had a long-term career in one particular area. Sometimes an injury comes about, or just some sort of life circumstance change, and so they decided they want to take a different path in terms of their career. We also have, as I mentioned, the career programs. We're currently working with our healthcare programs. We also have corporate college, and so we are partnering with organizations like some of you here in the room, where that's more of a customized type of training, where say a particular employer has a need to train their workforce. There's, that's not their specialty, but they are looking for a training partner, and so MCC serves in that capacity as well. We also provide apprenticeships, and so that's a department that, or a team that really works hand in hand, oftentimes with grant funding, federal funding to provide apprenticeships opportunities. And then also the economic development piece. As you know, workforce development, economic development go hand in hand. And so there's a big part of how do we drive that within the community. So that gets back to creating those opportunities and serving the communities. So in a sense, out of our grant work that we were doing with those Department of Labor grants, we had an initiative to provide digital literacy training. So it's not, the campuses are not open to just students. Some of our computing labs are also open to the community. So if you have individuals that your organizations are serving, they need computer access, you can send them over to the Penn Valley campus. Certainly students have needs for digital literacy training. They're coming in at all different levels. Because if we have students who are coming through the early college program, through KCPS, a partnership that we have with them, or our middle college program. And so then we also have, like I said, students who are much older, who are returning, or whether it's to get training for the first time, or if it's somebody who, is in switching careers. And so in that sense, we've got our libraries that also offer some digital literacy training, and then of course those career and technical education programs that in some cases are doing higher level training. Thomas talked a little bit about some of the things that we are doing with our Cisco Networking Academy. That's at our Blue River campus. At that campus, we also have our cybersecurity program, which was just launched really last year, and really well received within the region. They attained a very difficult status to attain in terms of their program accreditation, and so we are very pleased and proud of the work that they're doing in that program. So lots of different things. If you have questions about how we might be able to serve you in your organization or your clients, certainly feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
So again, one of our other founding steering committee members, Stephenie Smith, could not be here. She's formerly with the Linwood Y. She's now in a new organization, or not new organization, but new position, Nourish KC. She's the Chief Strategic Development Officer, and I'll read her comments. It is with great excitement I serve as a founding steering council and coalition member. Like you, I believe digital equity and access are key components of upward mobility. As the Chief Strategic Development Officer at Nourish KC, a nonprofit committed to eradicating hunger, I believe it is not only imperative that digital access is available to all, but that all are supported to learn and leverage it as a resource to promote meaningful growth, both personally and professionally. I look forward to serving with each of you as we work together to make digital inclusion a reality.
Hi, Rick Usher, Assistant City Manager for Small Business and Entrepreneurship in the City of Kansas, Missouri. And I want to tell you like my general title there, Small Business Entrepreneurship, and really how that pulled me into digital inclusion. Because as we're out in the community trying to identify the gaps in the entrepreneur ecosystem, it's really growing entrepreneurs and giving people access to technology that's significant. And with the internet and opportunities available today online, that was a major piece that we needed. So 2017, the City Council adopted our Digital Equity Strategic Plan. All the folks in this room have been involved over partners, as Carrie and Tom have pointed out, the work that you're doing in this coalition is being recognized nationally, and I don't know if you've made it clear that really net inclusion was founded in this room when Angela Seifert was here at our coalition meetings. So this talks a bit about the things we're doing, and I want to point out that Mia Richardson here taking photos is our new KC BizCare manager. She's started with the city in December. November.
You made me come wrong, November.
And invited her to come into the coalition to see what we're up to here. But I want to just quickly go through like the 5-6 points of the digital equity strategic plan that the city has. We developed that plan to really inform the city council of how we should be participating with the Coalition for Digital Inclusion. But the 5-point plan, and I didn't put a slide up here for it, but is that initially we're using the internet as a consumer, so there's all of the things you can do, and especially now with mobile apps, you don't have to leave the house anymore. You can, what I love is I go to cat where it's delivered to my doorstep, and I love those folks that are carrying that 40-pound cat litter at my front door. Then your second step is as a learner, the educational opportunities. You can follow your own path through the internet paths of learning. Then, let me get these things right. Consumer, learner, digital citizen, digital citizenship. You can give feedback to the city council. You can have a Facebook page and participate like we've got. And I can read the full list. We've got at least 5 or 6 people watching. I mentioned Cameron in Sacramento. I think our friend Lizone Grace from Topeka's watching. I think I saw William Wells from Steam Village is watching. 4 or 5 other folks there that are participating, and they'll have some questions. Karina West, I think, she said shout out from KCK. So we can get digital participation going here. The employment, though, is one of our, using the internet as an employee, used to be you come to the library, do a job search, find a job, and that was kind of the extent of how you were using the internet. With, thank you, Google Fiber, with gigabit internet speeds, symmetric speeds that's a significant side of that. You can get about any distance working job, remote working job that you can qualify for from your home. That opens the door to economic mobility across the city. Google Fiber did build out their services through the majority of our neighborhoods in Kansas City, Missouri. I think our calculations were that fiber passes 94% of our population. So it's really not just this raising awareness piece of what these online work opportunities are. And then finally, as an entrepreneur, you can create a home-based business, just employment for yourself. You can create a company and create employment for your friends and family, or you can go and you saw the Startup Village phenomenon that started right after Google Fiber. Where is Fiber going to hit, and where can I come in and start a company? So we have home-based business guidelines at City Hall that are very open to allowing home-based business. But as far as my participation in the coalition, Tom, we pointed out the social media that we have. Tom and I, a few years ago, we had this conversation of, we're a digital inclusion coalition, but we're not digitally engaged, and we've got to be more digitally literate. So we created the Facebook page, created the Twitter account. There's also a YouTube channel titled Include KC, where I'll upload this video from Facebook to the YouTube channel as an archive. There's history of where we are now, 2 years of our meetings available there. There's other things from groups that we participated in around the country. And then I also got to give a shout out to Next Century Cities, Deb Sosha. I think she might have introduced me to Cameron Law. I don't know if Cameron got there that way. But Next Century Cities is working across the country to help cities primarily become or understand the value of the internet, and in some cases build industry-owned fiber networks. Lately, they've been focusing on small cell deployment technologies. We've got a great small cell program in Kansas City. If you're not familiar with small cell, it's a program that allows wireless service providers to attach their antenna to city infrastructure, mainly streetlights. There's streetlights on every street in Kansas City, Missouri. By distributing a network of small cell sites, they can accommodate the increased capacity that's necessary for wireless providers today. So that's all I have, and we'll be around if any questions. Just one more thing on the social media site. Feel free to, and we really encourage you to post your events and activities on that Facebook page. Kansas City Coalition for Digital Inclusion. And then when we post things like this event there, then share that. And I think there's been 6 or 8 shares of this video already. Sorry? Okay. Yes, sir.
Oh, just from Facebook, Karina West wanted to know how you plan to address trauma.
Yeah, I saw Karina ask that. She was really directing that at Tom.
Okay, I was wondering.
And I know you mentioned trauma in your introduction.
I need
Grief support. I know we've got, and they're not here today, but Cornerstones of Care deals primarily with victims of trauma and, sorry? Okay. So, yeah, there's a lot to discuss in that area. I don't know, Tom, you?
It's something we can address.
Yeah. I think there are members of the group that are deep into this, as I mentioned, Cornerstones of Care, Reconciliation Services, I'm sure, so.
We can have.
Yeah. But, so back on the social media, it gives us exposure of what we're doing. It helps us get more attendees to come to your events, and looking forward to a great 2019.
Thanks, Rick.
So at this time, I want to take a moment. The next thing on our agenda is to talk about events. There's some questions you might have or concerns. And then we're going to lead into an activity that you will have a handout on, a little piece of paper there in front of you on your table. And so just a couple of events. A recap, Aaron mentioned that tomorrow is Hack KC. And then also you have a handout from the Black Family Technology Workers Association about their event coming up on February 9th. It is a youth STEM fair. And so if anybody else has an event that they would like to highlight, now would be that time. Certainly, as you see that the Walkers have brought their flyer, that's a great way. You guys can also send those to us, so that way as we are sending out the agenda and items coming up for future meetings, we were able to share that, particularly with those who aren't here. And so that's a way for us to also create some awareness and create that value add for you as members too. So any other events? All right, I'll move forward. Any announcements? Thank you. Any questions or concerns?
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, the partnership that the CRA units are trying to bridge with the low to moderate income areas, could I get more specific information about who to contact or what the, and then the other thing is, both in Kansas and Missouri, the enormity of homelessness, and then there, even though Congress is one of the ones where it says we have that historic tax credit, and a lot of people aren't familiar with, if you have a historic home, you could get assistance to rehab that property. And with all of the technology and the genius of what we're doing, we had talked about that before. You talked about it earlier yesterday about making sure that we're reaching into the core
wanted to reiterate for the CRA information, probably the best person to reach out to right now is Jeremy Hagel with the Kansas City Fed, and I have his contact information for you. The Fed locally has been really instrumental in trying to get the word out about how we can take advantage of it, either through volunteer opportunities that lead into possible funding for digital inclusion initiatives. And then your second question, I'm not sure that I understood it completely, had to do with homelessness potentially and.
Yeah, a lot of people losing their properties
Due to eviction?
Well, every time they take and go and fix up an area, then it goes on a liquid personal property, real estate tax,
Okay.
either the renters, they get, I mean, this is nationwide.
Yeah.
And so if we can figure out a way to help get the information out to people and their families about if you're in your home, your family's own a home for a really long time, it would be wise to try to give the historic tax credit so that a consultant and an architect go in there and help keep neighborhoods somewhat intact throughout the development, so that, because there's more to it than just a house. Okay, so that's all I wanted to do.
No, I
Historic tax
think-
credit and
thank you, and-
code, so if that makes any sense, I don't.
It does, and I think it kind of ties exactly into what this exercise that we're doing right now, which is an opportunity for each one of us to write down on a piece of paper and share some ideas about what we should be talking about in the coming year, what some focus areas are for each one of you, or for your organizations, or for your patrons. I know one of the things we've already talked about here, last year we want to do more of is the 2020 census is coming up. So there's been some meetings that have been held at City Hall and some organization around that, but it's going to be critical because it's going to be done online. So how can we make sure that everybody is accounted for? And that's something that this coalition needs to really be a part of. So I'm going to turn it over to Dominga now, but if you don't mind, we can either talk afterwards and I can get more clarity on what you're looking for. But really, this is an opportunity for all of us. And anytime you have a suggestion or an idea or something that's going on out there that we have not discussed or that we need to get more clarity on or more information to all of you out there, please let me know, because that's part of what we want to do here, is make sure that we're addressing locally and nationally ways to support you and things that are happening in our community. Okay? Thank you.
All right.
Can you switch to the slide with the link, please? Yes, thank you. All right, so those of you with your technology out, if you'll go to the following website, it's ideaboards.com / the word for, FOR, / KCCDI, and then that number / 2775697. We're going to put up the questions that you have before you. So really this exercise is around some of the things that were just suggested, or what are things that we should be talking about? What are our hopes, our goals, our thoughts toward how, whether it's the coalition, what should we be accomplishing for 2019? The second question before you is really, what do you hope you and or your organization will accomplish toward digital inclusion in 2019? Finally, the third piece there is, what are your hopes for how Kansas City will be impacted in 2019 toward becoming a more digitally inclusive community? And so we invite you to go up and post through your technology, whatever device you're using, to put your thoughts out there. And so we're going to collect everybody's feedback and really be able to try to identify some things. And in front of some of those things, we'll be looking at that and reviewing it within the steering council and to tackle, hopefully with your support also. We need hands on that.
We can do either one, right?
Yeah, you can do.
Either one.
Oh,
Yeah.
to write it down?
Yeah, I think I just tried to pull it up and something went wrong, so just so we can.
Oh,
either do it
yeah,
this
and
way
you
or-
can't connect with it, that's fine. You can write it on this little paper as well. And so we can always go back and enter your feedback into the link. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
So you should be able to hit the plus sign.
Is anybody on? You hit the plus sign to answer. Okay, so you hit the plus sign, you type in your comment. And so this is something We're looking at again for a value added to show you a new technology that you can use within your organization, and this is free. And so this is called Idea Boards. And so with this, you type comment?
Yeah.
And
I thank Ida for
right.
identifying this collaborative.
All right, so when somebody has, I would like to see a coalition, and then with that comment, I can't see the bottom, but you should be able to say, I like that. So instead of you, there it is. So you go to the light.
Right here, and that's gonna add you.
Now hit escape. I don't know how it works on a cell phone, but I know on a computer, you hit escape and it takes you out of that. So if you see a comment that you like, then you just go in and like it, or if you don't see one, then you click the plus sign to add it. This is a free technology, and I just found out yesterday when Dominga was telling me I gotta get index cards, gotta get pens. I was like, what are we doing that for? We're digital inclusion. We should be, as Rick said, using technology. So with this, you can actually export all the comments as a PDF file. So we're not just capturing everybody's comments, but then you can go and you can export it as a PDF. You can name your file anything you want. Let me see, we don't have anything up right now. Oh, there it is. And so it's going to 2019 brainstorm sessions. You go in, you name the board. So the name of the board is KCCDI. And then you give a short description, which is 2019 brainstorm ideas. And then you can see the number of people who have said, I like that comment that was already there. Yes, ma'am.
I just have a question. Will we be able to see who forwarded the comment in case we'd like to follow up with more information about that, or is it all anonymous?
Good question. So the answer is no. So you would have to put your name, thanks for asking that. So you would have to put your name after the comment, you know.
Yeah, I know, maybe we want to make it anonymous. It's up to you guys, but I just was like that question. I already have questions about that first one up there. So.
Okay.
So if people fill out the paper and leave it with me, then I can enter this after the meeting on the website, so you can go back anytime and vote on the.
Exactly.
Now we can send money too.
Yeah.
Spend more time on it.
Well, and then we can also send the link out.
Yeah.
So that way, anyone who's not at the meeting has an opportunity to respond.
So we had a question about what the website is again, and
It's, can you go back?
and how you
It's ideaboards.com.
Boards with a Z.
And again, this is free, so it's worth, and you don't have to you don't have to create an account. Because a lot of people don't do things because it's like, I gotta go, get my information. None of that happens with this website, which is a good thing.
Okay, we still this out now? Oh, okay. I don't know.
Right, so the options are hard copy now, leave it with us, they can look at it, enter, he'll go online and do this, and then you can go and see all the comments that everybody has made. And then you say, so the next meeting will be Friday, February 1st. As we've been saying all morning, each of us is going to be taking turns on hosting and facilitating the meeting. I asked for February, and so during that time, I plan to be doing an introduction to some of the organizations, such as Mr. Walker, such as the Esteem Village. William, you're watching, I haven't got your email yet back. Don't forget, you got till Friday to respond to me. The CWA Learning Center, and I believe the Auto Engineering Group at Full Employment Council. We have a couple of other people, but that is so far the creation of the Black technology ecosystem here in Kansas City. And so you'll get an opportunity to talk to those organizations, see what they're doing. Rick Usher and a couple of other people had a chance during Global Entrepreneurship Week to do the Party with a Purpose bus tour. And so we actually went to each of those spaces. We're going to expand that in the spring and do the Party with a Purpose again. And on the bus, we also got to learn about the contributions of Blacks in technology. So I thought that'd be appropriate for February, so that is the plan. Hope that you guys will pack the house. I plan to invite as many people as I can in the Black technology ecosystem for February, and that is it. I think we still have maybe 5 minutes left for networking, so thank you. Look forward to seeing you guys in February. If you want to network with somebody or connect with somebody, now's the time to do it. Thank you for coming.